Tribes TV finds itself in the Potteries. We are in Newcastle under Lyme, and I'm delighted to be joined by Bill Rockett of Rockett Home Rentals. And Bill, it's so great to be here and meet you, because you and we met, it's quite interesting circumstances actually, but before we get to that, just give us a little bit of overview of your business and your footprint here.
Okay. We're an Arla letting agent. We've been trading for 15 years now. We serve Newcastle under Lyme, Stoke-on-Trent and bits of South Cheshire, and we've done very well doing that for the last 15 years.
Brilliant. And we came across each other because you wrote an article for Property Industry Eye, which was, it's been quite a conversation starter, hasn't it? And you felt strongly about a certain issue. What was that issue?
It was the struggle this summer to fill HMOs, room shares, single rooms, shared houses. I've not had a summer like this where we've had so much inventory at the end of the summer. And I just wanted to know, is it just me, or is there other agents feeling the same problem? Am I missing a trick here this year that maybe someone else could advise on? And to be honest, we've tried everything. We've been reducing rents. We've tried all kinds of marketing things. I strongly believe, as I put in what I wrote, that currently there's thousands of rooms for hundreds of people. And that seems to be the case. That I hate to say it, but we almost can't give them away at the moment. But that's just here.
Indeed, and I think, obviously no letting agent wants to admit that they can't rent out rooms or properties. So for you to actually go onto a big national website with this article, it suggests to me that you feel the problem is bigger than you.
Very much so. I mean, a lot of landlords, we're a small independent letting agent, and you get to know them really well. You build a relationship, and you don't want to be continuously on the phone with them saying, I've just got no viewings, I've got no offers. I've spent most of the summer ringing people up asking them to reduce their prices, and then you get to a point you think, well, just how low are we going to go? There can't be anything in this. Now we've gone this low. By the time you include all the bills and everything, and I feel sorry for them. They're genuine people. These aren't multi-millionaires with massive portfolios. These are couples with one or two properties, basically, and it's their pension fund. And I do worry, you miss the student market and the bulk of the sharers. I tend to find over the summer we see the bulk of the single lets. The companies hire, people have graduated, they're looking for the first job. And I'm scared that we've missed that summer so far.
But this problem that you're experiencing is very, very specific to HMOs, shared houses. You're not experiencing it with your bread and butter terraces, your family homes. This is a very niche problem that you've identified.
Very much so. This is why it came to light. The terraces for young couples are let in, the family homes are let in, they're fine. It was these shared rooms. We just, every week I kept thinking that it's just not changing that end of our database on the website. And, you're kind of scratching your head, well, what can I do? We'll try something else. We've done all the paid advertising on Facebook. We've put stuff on Spare Room. We've posted everything out to all the companies. We push across LinkedIn and everywhere. And I'm thinking, well, this is getting ridiculous now.
And have you any idea what you can put this down to? Is it oversupply?
Very much so. There's so many, and every street you go around, you see room to let. You only have to look on Rightmove and Zoopla and just see how many. And I keep track of all the other agents, and I speak to everyone, and they say all the other agents are saying the same thing, that they can't let HMOs at the moment.
Do you think this is because of a trend for landlords and investors to be recommended that HMOs deliver high yields, and that people have been encouraged to go into that particular niche type of investment, and that too many people have piled in?
I think at the beginning with HMOs, it's a good business concept.
It is.
Good steady money, you can make a good income out of it. The problem is there's so many factors at play here. With all the taxation on landlords, of course, they're seeing their returns shrink on traditional lets. So to suddenly see, I don't know, around here, £2,000 out of a terrace house you've managed to convert 4 bedrooms with en-suites out of, I'm sure for a lot of them it's hard to say no, but they seem to have come in like a flood, and there seems to be so many now. And like I said, I know it's not just us. There's too much inventory on Rightmove and Zoopla to tell me that it's just us. And it does need to settle down. I just think, either that needs to calm down, or you need to see some massive companies suddenly come in and go, right, there's 5,000 jobs, and suddenly, whoosh, you'd fill them all up again. In a few years' time, if the balance changes around here, and suddenly, new business parks and everything comes in, happy days.
Indeed. Now, on the social media, we said it has sparked a lot of discussion and a lot of interaction, which is very healthy, actually. It's brought out some really good points. But one of the things that people have repeatedly said to you is, oh, you've got something wrong. It's the wrong area. It's the wrong type of finish or standard. You've been in the business 15 years. It doesn't strike me that you would suddenly start making rookie errors. So what would you say to those people that are saying you've got it wrong?
Well, the particular property that I put on, I wanted to highlight because I thought it was one of the best HMO conversions I've seen. Roughly, it's twice the size of most of the ones I've seen. The guy did everything I asked him to do. Fantastic back garden, everything along those lines, ample parking. And I just can't let it. Is it in the wrong area? I don't think so. I've gone up and down the side streets. There's HMO signs everywhere for rooms to let. It's about 3/4 mile from the centre of Hanley. Hanley is the core of the city, where all the shopping centres are everything. There's parks, there's bars, there's restaurants nearby, there's shops. Everything you think would work, to be honest. And I mean, people I've shown it to all say, wow. The moment they see that kitchen and everything else, they go, wow. Any other year, I'd have people queued around the block for that kind of house. We'd have had a company in, taking all the rooms, anything along those lines. I just believe what I've said before, and I stand by it, there's too much stock.
Okay. Playing devil's advocate, if somebody says you can't let a property, then people retaliate and say, oh, there's something wrong. Like the price is wrong, or there's other issues with it. Have you even had any viewings so that people can give you feedback as to why they're not going to let a room there?
We've had probably less than half a dozen viewings. We've let one room. The feedback we've had, everyone says, wow, it's incredible. But they also say, I've got another 8 viewings. So whether
There's so much choice.
Yeah, there is. I'll tell you now, the price is $350, including all bills. How much lower can you go? I mean, the bills on their own have got to be, what, $150, $200 a person or something like that. There's very little in it, so I don't think we've got the pricing wrong. I don't think the product's wrong. I mean, if anyone goes round it, it is a wow place. They've cut no corners on this. And it's not the only one. I've got tons of them at the moment, of these rooms that, we just can't let. And every day we're dropping prices.
So if that particular property that you featured, if you did let all 5 rooms in it, would it still be a viable investment at the very low room rates that you've got for the first room that you let?
Not for the developer. Right. He wouldn't recover his costs. It would pay the running costs of it, basically. But at $350 a room for 5 rooms, I mean, I've spoken to him. He said no. He's done his figures. He needs $500 a room.
Okay.
So, you're looking at $150 down on each room at the moment. And the thing is that he said to me, he's gutted because he was going to do quite a few of these. He said this was just the first and this was going to be the template. And I said, please don't do any more. Do family homes.
Okay, well, it's very interesting to talk to you, Bill. And I know before we started the interview, we both wanted to bring a lot of balance to this discussion, because we're not saying this is happening all over the UK. We're saying that there are areas that we feel are oversaturated. We've had discussions on property tribes. Where have all the tenants gone? Not getting response from Spare Room, from Gumtree, the levels that we used to get. So I think it is healthy to air this problem. And at Property Tribes, we always say anyway that HMOs are really for the more hands-on, experienced landlord that can do intense due diligence and check all these issues such as oversaturation. What bit of advice would you give to perhaps a newcomer landlord who's been sort of lured by the promises of big yields from HMOs? What advice would you give to them?
Well, if you haven't bought one, I wouldn't at the moment. I'd go with a safe bet of a family home. Yeah. As I said, it'd be fine if suddenly a great big business park opens up. happy days. I'd like to hope that the saturation of HMOs will slow down and give everyone a chance to balance out, to fill their properties and to see them relet on a 6 or 12 monthly basis so they can see that as a business plan it's working. Because, like I said, we want to do this balance. I've seen some amazing HMOs. They look like boutique hotels. I can't fault what everyone's doing with them. I just don't think that the footfall is there at the moment. I mean, that's personal experience. I need to stress this. I'm basing this on my summer as a letting agent.
Yeah, and on your patch.
Around this area. It could be that in London and Birmingham and Manchester that that they can't build them quick enough. There's that kind of demand, but we're a far smaller city, and we're just not seeing it.
Well, I think that's very interesting, and I think it once again highlights the importance of due diligence before anybody acquires any property for investment. They are going to have to do intense DD. They can speak to local agents such as yourselves. They can actually walk the streets and see how many to lets or room to let signs there are. There are lots of things they can do to make sure that they don't buy a property, do it up to a wonderful standard, and then find that there's nobody to rent it.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. I mean, speak to an agent, speak to me, speak to any agent, and ask them honestly, have you got shed loads on the books that you can't let? And if they say, yeah, I mean, some agents have told me they're turning down HMOs. Right. They just don't want to take them on. I mean, that gives you an idea then, doesn't it? I mean, if they say that they've got a queue out the door for them, then great. But, have a good chat with them and see how they're performing, because they're at the coalface at the end of the day.
Indeed. Well, it's been great to come to your coalface, actually. Great to come to see you here at the Potteries. Thank you for writing the article on Property Industry Eye and being kind of what I call a fire starter, somebody that gets everybody fired up and engaged in a topic, because from that we can all learn. And, I think it's really, really healthy to have these sort of discussions and alert people to things that we have concerns about to help them make wiser investment decisions.
Brilliant. Without a doubt.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me here.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Cracking.